Good evening. It's wonderful to see everybody today. I would like to call the school board meeting for Tuesday, September 24th, 2024 for the Des Moines Public Schools to order. Ms. Rios, would you please take the roll?
Yes. Ms. Alonso?
Here.
Ms. Campos?
Present.
Mr. Dix?
Here.
Ms. Knox?
Here.
Ms. Martorano?
Here.
Mr. Mayberry Mays?
Here.
Ms. Norris?
Here.
We have quorum.
The first item of business is approval of the agenda. I would like to make a friendly amendment to the agenda by removing the reimagining education update from our work session. Matt Smith is sick today and not able to join us, and since he's leading the body of work, we are going to not move forward with that today. Do we have a motion and a second to approve the revised agenda?
Motion by Campos.
Second.
Alonso second.
We have a motion by Campos and a second by Martorano. Is there discussion or does anyone have questions? Board members, please cast your votes. Mr. Dix?
Yes.
Ms. Alonso?
Yes.
The agenda is approved 7-0. The vote is approved, I guess. Thank you. Next on the agenda is our district recognitions. Superintendent Roberts, are there any recognitions for today?
Most certainly, Madam Chair. Thank you and good evening, everyone. Again, as we continue to bring forth district recognitions at our school board meetings where we celebrate the successes and accomplishments of our students and staff throughout the Des Moines Public Schools. Tonight, I have two recognitions. One of them is in keeping with our tradition of recognizing one of our teammates. And the second recognition is one that certainly aligns to the work that we have set out to do, and certainly looking at and honoring some of our historic institutions in this country. For more than 180 years, historically Black colleges and universities have delivered a quality education to Black students across the country. And this is embedded in the recent sharing by President Joe Biden as he declared this week National HBCU, Historically Black Colleges and Universities Week. There are over 100 HBCUs, and they serve as an engine of economic opportunity to make America more prosperous, but more importantly, this aligns with the work we're doing to make us more equitable. And although HBCUs make up less than 3% of post-secondary institutions in the United States, they account for 8% of Black undergraduate enrollment and 13% of all college bachelor's degrees earned by Black students. Two pieces of impressive data that I often think about and serves as a point of pride is the fact that HBCUs produce 40% of all Black engineers and 70% of all Black doctors in this country. Several weeks ago, right here today, as you heard, me talk a little bit about the work that our talent and personnel team under the leadership of Susie Talman and Peter LeBlanc have set out to do, and that is to make sure that as a part of our recruitment strategy to ensure that we too are focused on equity in terms of our hiring, have decided to partner with several historically Black colleges and universities this year in keeping with Guardrail 3, which is the superintendent shall not allow the composition of a teaching and learning staff that diverge away from the diverse demographics of our student population. Essentially, we recognize the importance of having the adults who serve in classrooms and other buildings mirror to a great extent and have shared identities with many of our students. So if you know of anyone who is a HBCU graduate, please make sure that you say hello to them and congratulate them. You can start with yours truly. I'm a proud HBCU graduate, so thank you. Second recognition, K-12 Dive is a news outlet that really focuses on elementary and secondary education, particularly with regards to technology, and they have named our own Lisa Irie, the Director of Technology, as one of 10 school district leaders from across the country as some school district leaders to watch for 2024-2025. Lisa was noted in this write-up for her leadership in making technology accessible, as well as in looking at the work that we did here in Des Moines Public Schools in terms of our response to and ultimately our recovery from the recent cyber attack. In addition to her technology expertise, Lisa is also the first openly LGBTQ plus leader here in Des Moines Public Schools. And not only does she provide leadership, but she certainly provides representation for all of the students here within Des Moines Public Schools who identify as LGBTQ+, as well as the staff in our districts. We are proud of this recognition that Lisa has received, being one of only 10 leaders in the country. I want to say congratulations to Lisa. She could not be with us this evening. She has a family commitment. Madam Chair, that ends this evening's recognitions.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Next on the agenda is the public forum. We provide speakers at the forum an opportunity to address the board for up to 3 minutes regarding items that are not on the board agenda. We also allow any person the opportunity to speak to the board for up to 5 minutes following the presentation of an agenda item. If anyone wishes to speak during any portion of the business meeting, please email rosa.rios@dmschools.org. The same speaking protocols apply to all individuals who wish to address the board. Speakers will be called individually, and we ask they state their name and address prior to providing comments. Students and minors do not have to provide their addresses. Guests of the board are encouraged to speak to matters relating to the programs, services, and operations of DMPS. Please remember that Iowa law prohibits us from discussing specific employees or their job performance. We ask all speakers to avoid references to personalities or character attacks, as those types of comments do not contribute to the purpose for which this public forum exists. The use of inappropriate language will not be tolerated, and individuals choosing to do so will be gavelled out of order and asked to excuse themselves from the premises or escorted out by district security. As a reminder to the board and public, the board will not engage in discussion with public forum speakers, as it is our obligation to discuss only matters posted in the public agenda for the sake of transparency and opportunity afforded to all community stakeholders. Matters requiring attention will receive appropriate staff and/or board follow-up at a time after the meeting. Thank you for your participation. We appreciate your feedback and input, and we're glad you're here. Ms. Rios, do we have any speakers for the public forum?
We do. First up, I'll call Susan Vanderhaar. You may approach the podium.
Hi, good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak. I was the art teacher at Jefferson for 24 years, and this is my 3rd year of retirement, and I had the best job in the building. I want to discuss something that happened at Jefferson this summer that I was not directly aware of, but we have a wonderful artist. I sent you an email about Jordan Weber, and he graduated from Hoover. His wife was a reading teacher at Mural. He's remarkable. And in 2013, I wrote a grant, received money, and we wanted to paint a mural. And I called the Des Moines Public Art Foundation, and they sent me Jordan's name, and I called him, and he came out, and he talked with the kids about what is your favorite character in a storybook. So we gathered all that information, and he came and he started this mural. At that time, we called it the performance area. It was a big, empty room that had a stage, renovation that's gone, but the mural covered this whole wall. And then he wanted the children to paint their rendition of his mural on the opposite wall, and everyone signed their names in an alcove. It was a wonderful experience. When we got a new principal who didn't have any history of this, I wrote him a letter and included information about Jordan and what he had done, and that I wanted it to be understood why it was there and how important it was. We had the plaque. I had the PTA make a plaque, or I made a plaque and they paid for it. But we put a plaque of it outside the room, so when kids walked by, they could say, oh, because he's taken his career farther than I think he ever thought he would, because he's now an internationally known artist. He has work at the Pulitzer Prize Foundation. He's in the permanent collection at Des Moines Public Schools, at the Walker Museum in Minneapolis. He's an activist and an artist. He's just wonderful, and he's gone so far since he graduated from Hoover High School. So when I heard that they had painted over the mural, this was one of his beginning works when he was first starting his career. He's represented the United States at the Biennale in Venice. I cried. And then I got angry, and then I thought, well, that's not helping. So I wondered, I know that we have WPA art murals at Callanan from the 1930s. I know we have a beautiful mural at Greenwood by a wonderful illustrator from here, Paul Mishik. We have wonderful artwork in our buildings, but I don't know that we have a catalog of what we have, when it was done, who were the artists, and I don't know if we have a process to protect the art that remains for having things either removed, harmed, or painted over. It's not like we can go see another mural like this, because that was the only one. I didn't even take pictures of it or formal photographs of it, because I just kind of always thought it would be there. So I guess my wish to you, or wish for you, is that you would have a process for important artwork that is in our school buildings that needs to be protected and preserved. And I don't know if you have a committee of administrators or teachers or community people that could go through and help you decide, yes, that's important, that needs to stay and be protected. So that was my only request, that someone do something to protect the wonderful artwork that we're so lucky to have in this district. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are all the speakers that we have for tonight.
Mr. Mayberry Mays, I believe you have the consent motion.
Yes. I move that the board approve the consent items in accordance with the recommended action for each item on the consent agenda, including bills previously authorized, certified, and approved for payment by the board secretary in the amount of $6,288,773.07.
Is there a second?
Campos, second.
We have a motion by Dr. Mayberry Mays and a second by Ms. Campos. Any discussion or questions? Board members, please cast your votes. Mr. Dix?
Yes.
Ms. Alonso?
Yes.
The consent items are approved 7-0. Next on the agenda are our public hearings. First item, E1, public hearing for B9254 Garton Elementary exterior restoration. The public hearing will come to order. Is there anyone wishing to speak to item F1? Hearing no one, I'll close the public hearing. Superintendent Roberts, would you please introduce the matter?
Certainly, Madam Chair. I recommend the board review the proposed plans and specifications prepared by Angelo Architectural Associates for masonry restoration at Garton Elementary School, hold a public hearing, and approve the plans.
May I have a motion and a second to approve item E1?
Martirano, so moved.
Second, Mayberry Mays.
We have a motion by Martirano and a second by Dr. Mayberry Mays. Is there any discussion? Does anybody have any questions? Board members, please cast your votes. Mr. Dix?
Yes.
Ms. Alonso?
Yes.
The vote is approved 7-0. Next item is E2, public hearing for B9253 Windsor Elementary re-roofing project. The public hearing will come to order. Is there anyone wishing to speak to item F2? Hearing no one, I'll close the public hearing. Superintendent Roberts, would you please introduce the matter?
Certainly, Madam Chair. I recommend the board review the proposed plans and specifications prepared by Angelo Architectural Associates for roof repair at Windsor Elementary School, hold a public hearing, and approve the plans.
May I have a motion and a second to approve item E2?
Martirano, so moved.
Alonso, so moved.
We have a
Alonso,
motion by
second.
Ms. Martirano and a second by Ms. Alonso. Is there any discussion or any questions? Board members, please cast your votes. Mr. Dix?
Yes.
Ms. Alonso?
Yes.
The vote is approved 7-0. Next item, E3, public hearing for B9255 Lovejoy Elementary re-roofing project. The public hearing will come to order. Is there anyone wishing to speak to item F3? Hearing no one, I'll close the public hearing. Is everything okay? E3. Next item is E3, public hearing for B9255 Lovejoy Elementary re-roofing project. I've not heard anybody wanting to speak to this, so Dr. Roberts, would you please introduce the matter?
Certainly, Madam Chair. I recommend the board review the proposed plans and specifications prepared by Angelo Architectural Associates for roof repair at Lovejoy Elementary School, hold a public hearing, and approve the plans.
May I have a motion and a second to approve item E3?
Martirano, so moved.
Second, Mayberry Mays.
We have a motion by Martirano and a second by Mayberry Mays. Is there any discussion or questions? Board members, please cast your votes. Mr. Dix?
Yes.
Ms. Alonso?
Yes.
The vote is approved 7-0. Now we have our information-only item. The item is F1, committee updates.
No update from the, from my committees.
Mr. Dix, are you at the point where you want to provide an update on your committee?
No update for the renaming committee, but soon to come.
Great, thank you.
Well, I will provide an update from the foundation. Saturday is our one run. We are very excited. We have over $40,000 raised. So we are looking forward to a great day of supporting Des Moines Public Schools. So if you are a community member and would like to come out and participate in our one run at Waterworks Park, more detail on our website as well as on the foundation website. Don't miss the stellar video that Dr. Roberts produced with some of our students to promote the event. We are looking forward to a great day. Also, would just have the community, again, mark their calendar for February 13th. Our second annual foundation dinner is just around the corner. More details to come as soon as we get through the one run. But yes, please come join us.
Great, Jenna. Thanks for your hard work with the foundation and Dr. Mayberry Mays as well. Any other items for the committee? Okay. I'm going to turn it to items of privilege. So do our board members have any items that they would like to share at this time? Wow, quiet group today. Well, Dr. Roberts, Ms. Alonso and Mr. Dix?
None.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Roberts, I think that's the quietest we've ever been, but we'll turn it to you for final comments.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm happy to disrupt the beauty of the quiet. Share with some brevity, and certainly this is more of an acknowledgement and recognition. We are in week 4 of the school year, and it's important to note that while members of the public may not always have access to one of our non-negotiable practices, thus far we have seen some outstanding pedagogical practices as well as teaching and learning that really is occurring in an exemplary manner. We recognize that we still have areas in which we can grow and get better, but under our Chief Academic Officer's leadership, we have embarked upon a series of instructional rounds, and this is a practice whereby the CAO and members of our leadership teams in partnership with school leaders and their teams visit a number of classrooms, and the goal is to really observe teaching and learning and ultimately to be able to provide teachers with positive feedback that will assist them in improving their practices and get better. Instructional rounds aren't intended to be evaluative, but they're intended to be a support mechanism. We want to make sure that this school year, we are truly over-indexing on coaching, supporting, and developing teachers. But what we've seen thus far in a number of schools that we have visited, pre-K through 12, really bodes well for what is to come. And we are excited about the cadre of teachers that we have in place this year and the work that they are delivering. Parents, we want you to know that we are committed to providing you with a world-class education, and it's the kind of practices we are observing every single week during our scope and sequence being executed around instructional rounds. Madam Chair, that concludes this evening's superintendent's report.
Great, thank you. And I do want to remind board colleagues, if you have not signed up for one of those visits, please be sure to do so. Prior to us going into a closed session, I do want to let the public know that we will be going into a closed session. And upon completion of that, we will then be receiving our annual work session to conduct our annual training for open meetings and records and legal training, so people are aware. I'd like to now entertain a motion for us to go into closed session.
you need to adjourn this meeting first and then go into closed session.
We're still in open session.
I move that the board move into closed session by affirmative public vote of either 2/3 of the members of the body or all of the members present at the meeting, in accordance with Iowa Code Section 21.5, subsection 1, subsection C, to discuss strategy with counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent, where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the governmental body in that litigation.
We have a motion by Ms. Martirano. May I have a second?
Second by Campos.
Ms. Campos, board members, please cast your votes. Mr. Dix?
Yes.
Ms. Alonso?
Yes.
The vote is approved 7-0. I'd like to request now that the public please exit the room as we begin our closed session.